Okay, you're with us, Mr. Cook? You are muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, good. Okay, this is People of the State of Michigan versus Jeffrey Cook, docket number 20-803FH. And Mr. Cook, could you just confirm for me that you did agree to us doing the sentencing remotely instead of in person, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, you were convicted of possession of methamphetamine. That is a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. You are represented by Mr. Yang. And Mr. Yang, have you had a chance to review the pre-sentence report with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, we did review it.
Do you have any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Actually, I told Ms. Allen that I didn't have a correction, but I apologize. I do have one on the cover sheet where it says opiates. Currently, it's listed 2004 to present. That should be
Yes.
2004 to June of 2020.
Okay, I changed that. And that was your only one, you said?
Correct. Yeah, nothing to the body of the report or to the scoring.
You're good with the scoring? Okay, do the people have any corrections to the report or objections to scoring?
Your Honor, only to place on the record that I discussed with Mr. Yang. Initially, we thought the defendant would be eligible for treatment under MCL 333.7411. He's not. The lien we had for some reason didn't have his out-of-state convictions. So I was unaware of those that existed, but and it was not part of the Killebrew sentence agreement, but regardless, I discussed it with Mr. Yang. It's my understanding he still wants to go forward with the sentencing today. The recommendations, I believe, are still appropriate, but just that we have discussed that issue that came up when we got the PSI.
Great, thanks for clarifying that, because I was scratching my head when I read the PSI as to how he could have 7411. So, but you are correct. My notes reflect it was not a Killebrew agreement, and so we will proceed. So that was your only comment then, Ms. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor, no changes and no comment as to sentencing. I think the recommendations are appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, then Mr. Yang, I'll hear from you.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd ask that you adopt the recommendation of the term of probation for Mr. Cook. I do believe that he has struggled with substances for a while now, and I think under a term of probation and some programming, it'll help continue him on the path to sobriety. One thing that is mentioned in the report, and I just want to point out, is he does plan to stay with his mother, who currently has a PPO out on him. And I believe that she's consenting to him staying there, but I have told him that if that PPO doesn't get lifted, it could be considered a probation violation. So he does still plan to stay there, but I just want the court to know that we are aware of what's in the PSI as well. But again, I'd ask, given the opportunity to be on probation, show that he can get the tools needed to stay sober and be on his road to recovery, as well as I would ask that any of the fines and costs that you can waive be waived. I do believe he is indigent, as I am appointed through the conflict as a conflict attorney, and he is currently unemployed. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, let me just say, I'll give you a chance, Mr. Cook, but
Thank you, Your Honor.
That was another thing I was scratching my head over, because it seems like his mother is a pro-social environment for him to live in, and I wasn't quite up to what the writer indicated, which was that it's illegal for him to live with her. I'm not quite sure I would go that far, but in any event, I'll hear from you, Mr. Cook.
Okay. You wanted to hear from me?
If you want to say something, yes.
Like, me and my mother got in a disagreement last summer, and somebody talked her into putting a PPO or whatever out on me, and she seen how bad it was, like me living on the street, and was like, look, come home. As long as you're clean, come home, you know? So she said she would get it squashed. I tried to just go and look for jobs and try to stay busy as much as I can around here, because I don't want any problems at all.
Yeah. Okay, anything else you wanted to say?
Not really.
All right, well, I think there's very clearly a history here, a rather long history with methamphetamine. And, you know, the thing with your mom, I actually did not include it in my conditions that you couldn't have contact with her. But as
Thank
long as she has a PPO, but it's not just about me though, it's another judge who issued a PPO. So
All
as
right.
long as she has that PPO, just understand that if you have contact with her and she is unhappy with you because you do something or, you know, you violate her rules, she can call up and say it's a violation and they'll arrest you, and then we'll be dealing probably with a probation violation, and
I
you'll have
understand.
a PPO violation. So, you know, to me, I didn't see it as that large of an issue because what it says in the PSI is her condition is don't use drugs and you can stay with me. And to me, that's a good thing.
That is a good.
So, yeah, so, you know, but again, you understand the situation. So, you know, you're walking a thin line there if something goes wrong and it violates the PPO. But in any event, I think the number one concern here that your mother has, that I have, that everyone would have looking at this case is your long history with meth. And Mr. Cook, I mean, you are in need of inpatient treatment. I think that is really abundantly clear, and the probation department recommended it. And I want to see you get it. So, I mean, to me, that is the focus of our probation here. I am, of course, denying the petition for 7411 because you're not eligible. And I'm placing you on probation for a period of 18 months, 180 days in jail with credit for 24 days served. I will suspend all the balance of your time if you go to the TRICAP program, which is a good program that can help you if you really want to get help at this point in your life, Mr. Cook. You have to pay
What?
$130 to the Crime Victims Fund, $68 in state costs. Cost to the county in the amount of $250, which is a large reduction from what the State Court Administrative Office recommends as the average cost of a criminal case in Ingham County. I'm waiving supervision fees. Additional conditions of probation are no use or possession of alcoholic beverages or controlled substances or drug paraphernalia or medical marijuana. Comply with both drug and alcohol testing as your agent directs. You must attend AA and NA and or CA meetings as directed by your agent. Complete a substance abuse assessment if you are referred. And as I've indicated, complete any outpatient or residential substance abuse treatment, which in this case will be complete the TRICAP program. You must waive confidentiality and allow any program you're in to disclose information about you to your agent. You must not engage in any assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. No contact with anyone you know to have a felony record. You may not change your residence without first getting written permission from your agent. You can't possess a weapon while you're on probation. You must comply with the written and verbal orders of your agent, including letting the agent into your home at any time and submitting to a search of your person or property without need of a warrant. And report any changes to your agent within 24 hours. You must be in your approved residence between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. unless you get permission otherwise from your agent. Your driver's license has to be suspended for a year. You may not drive a motor vehicle while your license is suspended. You must make genuine efforts to find and maintain legitimate employment a minimum of 30 hours per week, although our first priority is treatment.
I have a question for you, Your Honor.
Yes.
Is there any chance we could do outpatient treatment? Because not only is the inpatient gonna cost a bunch of money, but I won't be able to even work or anything at all.
Well, Mr. Cook, my answer to that is no. I think you're in need of inpatient treatment. So did the probation agent. It's not going to cost you a lot of money because it's covered as it's funded. And
So what am I
The
supposed to do about my
And
bills?
the pre-sentence report shows that you're unemployed. So, you know, this is a problem that's affected your life for many, many years. And it's the highest priority. It should be the highest priority right now above everything else. You're going to be in contact with your probation agent. The probation agent's going to give you instructions about the inpatient treatment. So you have the right to file an application for leave to appeal your conviction and your sentence in this matter. You're entitled to an attorney at public expense to assist you in doing that. If you're making a request for one, you have to make it within 42 days of today's date. It will explain that more on the form that we will send to you about your appellate rights. And Mr. Cook, you need to be in contact with the probation department within 24 hours. So you need to call them up and they get you set up on probation. They're going to tell you about all the rules, the reporting, about inpatient, everything. So make sure that you contact them within 24 hours. If you don't know how to do that, Mr. Yang can give you direction. And that will conclude our sentencing hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can I request a breakout room with me and Mr. Cook?
Well, you can, but I have other matters, including one set at 4 o'clock that I'm already late for, and one set at 4:15. But if you want to, I'll give you a brief time. Please, I'm just asking you not to take too long.
Okay, it's okay. I will call him on his phone instead. Then that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Can I hang up now or?
You're here on Laughlin?
I'm here on both Laughlin and Collier. Mr. Collier and I had not spoken since today. Mr. Laughlin is ready to go, and which that should be able to wait.
Okay. Let me just get everything going here.
If you have anything else, I can go talk to Mr. Collier real quick, or?
Sure.
That's okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, so for the two agents that just joined us, Mr. Laughlin is here. He's ready to go. I'm told it's going to be a plea. Mr. Collier, the attorney, is here, and he hasn't had a chance to speak with him yet, so he just stepped out in the hallway for a couple minutes to speak with him. As soon as he comes back in, we'll take care of Laughlin first, then Collier.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.